Okay, good morning, students. We'll discuss today the boundary layer analysis and the heat transfer coefficient estimation. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about how the interaction of flow and the surface happens and what happens. There we saw a boundary layer develops. That means there is a flow pattern that develops around the surface. Okay, where velocity profile will change, vary compared to bulk of the fluid. If the bulk fluid velocity is u infinity, the velocity near the surface will be slightly different. Okay, so it varies, how that varies, profile, all those things we saw, as well as we also saw that there will be temperature also varies from a surface. Suppose the surface temperature and the fluid temperature are different, then the temperature profile within the fluid will be varying. Okay, all these things, this is the physics of the problem, right? This is a physical, how physically the fluid and the surface interact, what happens, right? So the velocity, that is physical one quantity, the physical parameter, velocity, how it varies. So here, so today we'll discuss how this, that is the physical nature of the fluid and the surface interaction. But we are interested in the heat transfer. So in the sense, to estimate heat transfer, if we can find out heat transfer coefficient, that will be useful for us to determine the heat transfer rate of heat transfer. Okay. So therefore, let's see how the how this physical understanding can be utilized to for the analysis of a heat transfer. Okay, I think we'll start. I mean, people are okay. So people are still joining. There's a problem. Okay, that's the reason I told you to join 5 minutes early. Keeps interrupting us. Okay, I think we are done with this. Let's go to the next slide. So I think already we have seen this. We saw how the hydrodynamic boundary layer and the thermal boundary layer will vary depending on Prandtl number. Prandtl number is a dimension number which helps us to know the nature of flow. Whether the boundary layer of hydrodynamic boundary layer is thicker than the thermal boundary layer. Okay, so this is what we saw yesterday. Let's continue from here. So basically, we are interested in what we are interested. We are interested in the heat transfer, right? So if I can determine heat transfer coefficient, that will be useful for me. So let's once again go back to the original condition, the flow over the plate. There is a plate and the fluid is flowing over it. So there leads to a hydrodynamic boundary layer over the plate. Okay, we can see that, right? So within the boundary layer, there will be variation in velocity. This we have seen. Okay, so then this we have seen already. Okay, so there is a hydrodynamic boundary layer. Boundary layer, what it means is, as I mentioned earlier, it separates the bulk flow. What is bulk flow? Bulk flow is the flow where velocity is u infinity. Initially, there was velocity which was u infinity. As the flow hits the surface, near the surface, flow velocity varies. Okay, so away from the surface at some distance, the velocity will be equal to the bulk velocity, that is u infinity. The line that separates the bulk flow from the layer that adheres to the layer that is adherent to the boundary layer that adheres to the surface. That is known as the boundary layer. Okay, this separates, this boundary separates. Okay, so its thickness is given by delta, or delta Hx is also used. Okay, so here the thickness of the hydrodynamic boundary layer is denoted by delta. Okay, sometimes it is called as delta Hx. In your data handbook, it is mentioned delta Hx. H stands for hydrodynamic boundary layer, right? So now let's go to the next. So there is a boundary layer. Okay, this we have seen. Next is when there is a boundary layer, if there is a temperature difference. Okay, if there is a temperature difference between the surface and the bulk fluid, then there will be a thermal boundary layer. Okay, temperature will vary from surface of the plate to inside. So this variation temperature at some point at some distance, it will be equal to the bulk fluid temperature. This line which separates the fluid which is having different temperature from the bulk fluid, this is known as the boundary of between the bulk fluid and the sub layer. Okay, the layer which is the boundary layer, thermodynamic, the thermal boundary which has formed. Okay, so this is the physics. We have seen it already. Let's once again go back. So what I'm interested here is convection, right? Heat transfer coefficient, convective heat transfer coefficient. So if I look at here, convective heat transfer coefficient, it is found that it varies with respect to x. You can see here the heat transfer coefficient H, which is shown in a blue line, okay, which is very high near the edge, because there is a lot of relative velocity between the fluid and the plate. So as you go away from this edge interior, there will be a hydrodynamic boundary layer that is developing. A certain fluid forms which separates the bulk of the fluid. Okay, therefore H gradually goes on decreasing. So if you see here, the relation between the hydrodynamic boundary layer and the H is the boundary layer thickness increases as you move away, as H increases, whereas the convective heat transfer coefficient value decreases. This has been found both analytically as well as the experimentally. People have done this. Okay, so now to analyze this, how to analyze this? Right? We have to study this, right? So one more thing, not just the boundary layer. We have seen that it is not just the boundary layer itself can be classified into two regions. One is laminar and a turbulent region. So both of the turbulent region, the type of interaction in the turbulent region and the laminar region is totally different. Therefore, they have to be analyzed separately. Okay, let's see first the laminar region, how it is analyzed. Okay. So boundary layer equation, how we develop the equation for a boundary layer, particularly for a laminar flow. Let's consider first the laminar flow. So once again, there is a plate at a temperature Tw. There is a fluid which is flowing at an u infinity velocity. Okay, it interacts with the plate and there develops a hydrodynamic boundary layer and a thermal boundary layer. So the temperature of the fluid is T infinity, bulk fluid, and the velocity is u infinity. So if you see within the boundary layer, the temperature varies. Okay, for the thermal boundary layer, temperature varies from a Tw to T infinity. It goes on decreasing as you move away from a plate. The temperature of the fluid decreases. At the surface, fluid temperature is equal to the surface temperature of the plate. As we move away from the surface, the fluid temperature decreases. At some distance, it becomes equal to the bulk fluid temperature. This separation layer is this region which separates, it is known as a thermal boundary layer. So this thickness of this is given by delta T. Okay, so Now, to analyze this, how to analyze this? Okay, this is the physics of the problem. How do we analyze this? To analyze this, this can be analyzed considering a two-dimensional flow, because in the z direction there is no flow. No, fluid is flowing from left to right. It's a unidirectional flow actually, but when it encounters, the flow velocity varies within. Right? Here it is away from the plate. Fluid is only one directional, unidirectional. That is in the direction of x. There is no y directional flow. There is no z directional flow. Therefore, this problem can be handled by assuming it to be a two-dimensional flow. So, to analyze this, as we discussed in previous lecture, so here you have to solve the equations for the conservation of mass. Okay, so the conservation of mass leads to an equation like this: dou u by dou x plus dou v by dou y is equal to 0. This equation you have studied in the fluid mechanics. Will not go into details of this. We'll directly take this equation. Conservation, if you apply for an element, the conservation of mass, you will end up with an equation, the differential equation of this nature. Okay, so once you then not only conservation of mass, we have to analyze for the conservation of momentum. So if you apply conservation of momentum for again element, we get an equation something like this. Okay, then if you apply conservation of energy, something that you have seen already in the conduction problems we solved. So if you solve here, the only problem is it's not just conduction; it has you have flow. Okay, so energy flows. You have to consider the energy flow with a mass. Mass that enters the element also carries some energy that has to be analyzed. So when you analyze this for conservation of mass, conservation of momentum, and conservation of energy, we get three differential equations. Okay, so all these three differential equations have to be simultaneously solved. Okay, we have to solve conservation of mass, conservation of momentum, conservation of energy. So all these, when you apply it to an elemental element, a small element, you get the three differential equations. These three differential equations should be solved simultaneously. So this is one of the conjugate problem. Here the flow influences temperature, temperature influences flow. So both should be simultaneously solved. Therefore, they are called conjugate problems. And the solution to this is very difficult normally. Okay, so people employ different methods. Of late, nowadays it's very popular to use. People frequently use computational fluid dynamics. They want, if the situation permits, one can go for computational lens. But for many cases, for simple cases, you don't need a CFD solution. One can go for the semi-empirical methods which people have developed, and which for that the data has been tabulated and data handbooks are there. A lot of equations are available in data handbook. So we are going to frequently make use of the data handbook that is that has been prescribed by the university for you. So I hope all of you are keeping your data handbook with you. So further discussion will often and again refer to the data handbook. Please have it ready with you. Okay. So let's continue. Okay. So if you solve all these three differential equations, you will get a. Strictly speaking, you should solve all this. But in some cases, you can simplify this solution. So when you simplify the solution, certain parameters can be eliminated, and you get you end up with a certain simple equations. Let's see what are those. Okay. So again, once again, please note that here the for a plate, u infinity, that's a flow velocity, bulk fluid velocity is constant. Okay. Okay. So the du by dx within the beyond boundary layer, right? Beyond the boundary layer, the flow velocity is not influenced by the x. Okay, distance, that is the distance from the plate leading edge, it only influences the flow velocity within the boundary layer, not outside boundary layer. Outside boundary layer, it is it's not is independent of the x value. Okay, so that you keep in mind. So exact solutions for the for above thing has been is available in is given in, you can refer the book Heat Transfer by the J.P. Holman. Its exact solution is available. Now I will not go to the exact solution. I will list the equations that are available here, which are given in the data book. Okay, they will be listed here. So if you solve, we get the equation for the hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness, right? Delta, which is a function of x. The delta value changes with x. Okay, so that the hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness equation is there. That is delta by x, right? Delta is the thickness of the boundary layer. X is the distance from leading edge. Is equal to, will be equal to roughly 5 divided by square root of a Reynolds number at that distance x, Rex, Reynolds number at x. Okay. So similarly, skin friction coefficient, okay, that we discussed yesterday. So skin friction coefficient equation is available. Again, this equation is available in the data handbook. Okay, C of x, friction coefficient at a given value of x, is equal to tau wx. Tau wx is the shear stress at a particular distance, a particular location on the plate, divided by 1/2 into rho. Rho is the density of the fluid. U is the U infinity is the bulk fluid velocity. Okay, so this is again equal to the 0.664 divided by square root of Rex, Reynolds number. Okay, so these people have done studied and found these relations. These relations are available in the data and book. Solutions to the treatment, mathematical treatment and derivation of this is also available in book that we'll see later. First, let's try to understand the subject and solve the problem. Okay. So here, what is Rex? Rex, Reynolds number is given by, as we discussed earlier, Rex is equal to U infinity into x divided by kinematic viscosity, and the tau, the shear stress, fluid stress is equal to, from fluid dynamics, please recollect, the shear stress is equal to viscosity into velocity gradient at y is equal to 0. Okay, this you already studied in the fluid mechanics. So average, what we have seen here, this is the skin friction coefficient at different x values. It varies with x. Okay, suppose if I take average of it, it's the total friction coefficient over the plate for entire distance from x 0 to x is equal to L. Okay, if I take that, I get it by integrating this C of x. So integration and divide by the length. So by that you get average value of it. So average is found to be 1.328 divided by square root of Reynolds number over total length of the plate. So here you can see this quantity is exactly double this. What we had here, local friction coefficient and average coefficient. Average coefficient is double the local friction coefficient. Okay, so this relation. So all these relations, don't worry, don't try to remember these equations. Then comes the Nusselt number. Nusselt number is the dimensionless heat transfer coefficient. Okay, the Nusselt number is known as a dimensionless heat transfer coefficient. So this is also related to the Reynolds number and the Prandtl number. Prandtl number, you said it's a fluid property. Okay, so it the Prandtl number values for different fluids are available in the data book that you can read for a particular given fluid. And then the Re is the Reynolds number, which depends on the flow characteristic. That is the velocity, the type of fluid, that is kinematic viscosity. Okay, all these parameters, these the fluid property and flow property decide the Reynolds number. Fluid property decides the Prandtl number. Okay, so Nusselt number is related to these two. Okay, so if you see here, this local Nusselt number varies from the leading edge to trailing edge. So we have seen in a previous sketch that heat transfer coefficient is very high at the leading edge and goes on decreasing. Same relation is reflected in the Nusselt number, because Nusselt number is a related, Nusselt number is dependent on a H value. Okay, so this is a local Nusselt number. Similarly, you get the average Nusselt number. The way we determine the average drag coefficient, we can also determine an average Nusselt number. So if you take average Nusselt number will be again similar to this, similar to drag coefficient. You can integrate this Nusselt number over the length L, and you can find out the average value of it, which is once again is a double. You can just see here this parameter is double this. Okay, if you multiply this 0.339 into 2, you get a 0.678. Okay, so don't worry about, as I said beginning, all these equations you need not remember. All these equations are available in data handbook. Please refer to data handbook. Go to page number. So let's see. If you go to page number 122, I suppose it may slightly vary depending on which edition of the data handbook you are referring to. 112 or 113 or maybe 111. So there these equations are available. If you look at here, the external flow, okay, for page number 112, you have proper and once again. So here you have all these equations. So whatever equation I said, hydrodynamic boundary and thickness. Okay, here it is given. Same thing is here. There it was 4.99 into the 4.199 x divided by square root of RE. Instead of this is differently written here, pi into x into RE to the power minus 0.5, which is nothing but 1 divided by square root of RE. Okay, so like this, all the equations are available. Similarly, you have the equation for the friction coefficient, friction factor or friction coefficient. This is also known as friction factor or friction coefficient. Both mean same. Okay. So one more thing, you need to concentrate on this. See, this is valid only for all these equations that are listed here. Valid only for the laminar flow. Okay, that means when the RE value is less than 5 into 10 to the power of 5, that is 5 lakh, less than 5 lakhs. If RE value is less than 5 lakh, only these equations are valid. If RE value is more, then you have to look for a different set of equations. So please keep in mind, don't forget this. Okay, so all these equations are available in data handbook. Don't worry, don't remember. Just you must know how to use these equations. Okay. So let's come back. So these are all the equations that we listed. Let's see how best we can use them in practical conditions. Okay. So now we are interested in a heat transfer coefficient. What is heat transfer coefficient? As we said, the Nusselt number is a dimensionless heat transfer coefficient. So Nusselt number is Nusselt number and a relation between Nusselt number and a heat transfer coefficient. Hx, local heat transfer coefficient, is equal to Nusselt number, local Nusselt number into K, thermal conductivity of the fluid, divided by distance x. Okay. Other way of writing it is NUX. Nusselt number is equal to Hx by K. Okay. So all these equations are available in data handbook. Once again, available in data handbook. Don't worry. So if you look at this, so here, if I substitute Nu, right, I get the equation for H. So see here, from the Nu is what? Nu is function of Re and Pr. What is Pr? Pr is a fluid property. Re is the flow property. Right? It depends on the fluid property as well as the flow. Flow means velocity value. So Re is a flow property. Pr is the fluid property. So flow and the fluid property decide the Nusselt number. Right? So from Nusselt number, I get the heat transfer coefficient. Understood? So this is how it helps us to estimate the heat transfer coefficient. So if you see here, similarly for average heat transfer coefficient also, you can follow the same procedure, find out the average heat transfer coefficient. So let us recollect that if I know the heat transfer coefficient, I can find out heat transfer. So heat transfer is here. Heat transfer is equal to heat transfer coefficient into area into temperature difference. So the temperature difference TW minus T infinity, area of the plate, into heat transfer coefficient will give you the heat transfer rate. So here, please keep in mind when you look at fluid properties, as I said, no, the fluid properties, Prandtl number or the kinematic viscosity, density values. These values, when you read from the table, you must read it for, because since the fluid properties vary with temperature, So temperature dependency you must consider here. So to consider that, which temperature you have to use. So for that, normally the film temperature is used. The film temperature is taken as average of the wall temperature and the fluid temperature. Fluid temperature is T infinity, wall temperature is TW. TW plus T infinity divided by 2 is the film temperature. At the film temperature, you have to find out all the values of all the properties from the table. Okay. So please don't scratch on your screen. So that will reflect here. So now let us try to solve one problem. Here, you have to determine, the problem is determine the thickness of thermal boundary layer and a thermal boundary layer and a local drag coefficient and a local shear stress. Local shear stress. So for a flow condition, so stress at a distance of 0.5 meter from a leading edge of a flat plate for a boundary layer flow of air at a 70 degrees Celsius. This is the problem statement. So here what we have to find? We have to find thickness of the boundary layer at a distance which is given mentioned, local drag coefficient, local shear stress. These are all the quantities we need to determine. So to determine these quantities, okay, what is given? Let's check. So what is given? The distance from the leading edge, x is given, which is equal to 0.5. Temperature of the fluid is 77. Here, since the plate temperature is not mentioned, we can take the plate and the fluid to be at same temperature. So then no need to find out the film temperature. The film temperature will be the fluid temperature only. The fluid velocity is given, which is equal to 2 meters per second. Okay. Type of fluid is air. Okay. Since air is given, we can find out the fluid properties from the data handbook. So first we have to find out before doing any calculation in convection. First find out the Reynolds number, because you should ascertain whether the flow is laminar or a turbulent. That is must. That's the precondition. First you should find out the RE, Reynolds number. So the Reynolds number equation is Rex is equal to U infinity into x divided by nu. Nu is a kinematic viscosity. U is given, x is given. Only the thing is nu I have to find. Nu I have to read it from the data handbook. So how to read it from data handbook? Go to data handbook. In the data handbook, so in the beginning, it's some properties of gases. Let us go to properties of gases. Yes. So here the properties of oil is given. Okay, properties of dry air, that is in page number 33. So here properties of dry air are given as a function of temperature. So if you see here, left column, temperature values are given for different temperature values, starting from minus 50 degrees Celsius. All the values are listed. You can see a density of the air, absolute viscosity, kinematic viscosity, thermal diffusivity alpha, Prandtl number, specific heat, thermal conductivity. All the values are given. So please note down all these values: thermal conductivity K, specific heat, then the Prandtl number, the thermal diffusivity you don't need, so not necessary. Kinematic viscosity you need, and density. So note down all these values. So here the temperature of the fluid, as we saw, it was 70 degree. You have to read the values for a 70 degree. So for 70 degree, density, kinematic viscosity, then a Prandtl number and a thermal conductivity. Please note down all these values. Okay. Once you note down all these values, so come back here once again. Substitute the kinematic viscosity. U infinity is already given. X value is 0.5. Substitute that. So you will get
So property values we read, kinematic viscosity is 20.02 into 10 to the power minus 6 meters square per second. Density is 1.029 kg per meter cube. Okay. So if I substitute this value, I get a Reynolds number 49,000, which is less than 5 lakh. Therefore, definitely the flow is a laminar. Okay. So since laminar flow, we'll use the equations of a laminar flow. What I have to determine here? I have to determine here is the thickness of a boundary layer at x is equal to 0.5. So thickness of boundary layer, we have equation delta h x hx it should be. I think by mistake hs is related. Please change this hx. Delta hx is equal to 5 into 5x into square root 1 divided by square root of rex. So if I substitute that, I will get a value of a adenal boundary layer at a distance of a 0.5 meters from leading edge will be 0.0118 meters. That will be around 11 millimeters. Okay. So this equation is available in the data handbook. So that for that you have to go to page number 112. So here, so this I am making use of this equation. See, can you see this? This equation I am making use. So this equation you have to make use. So same thing I have made use in my calculation. I have found out the thickness of a aerodynamic boundary layer. So once I find out the thickness of aerodynamic boundary layer, next step is I have to determine the local drag coefficient. So local drag coefficient, once again you have to go to data handbook. Data handbook, the equation that you would refer to is drag coefficient, local friction factor, which is known as a friction factor also. Drag coefficient, friction factor, all same name. So CFX is equal to 0.664 divided by square root of REX. Okay. So this again I substitute here. I find out CFX to be 2.971 into 10 to the power 3. Okay. So once you do that, then we have to find out a shear stress, local shear stress. Okay. So for local shear stress, what we will do? Again, we have to go to data handbook only. So if you go to data handbook, where the equation for the shear stress is given here on the left column. Okay, page number 112. Page number 112. Local friction coefficient. Please read this. CFX is equal to local friction coefficient defined by tau Wx divided by rho u infinity square divided by 2. Okay, this equation we make use now. So if I write that equation here, so CFX is equal to tau Wx, local friction shear stress, divided by rho is density of fluid, u is fluid velocity divided by 2. Okay, so I can rearrange the terms in this equation. So if I rearrange, I can find out a shear stress, because CFX I have already determined, right? Friction coefficient I have determined already. So now I know the fluid density, I know the fluid velocity. So I don't know the shear stress. I can find out shear stress by rearranging these terms. So if I rearrange the terms, I get that tau Wx is equal to CFX into rho u square by 2. Okay. So in this equation, I know CFX, which I have calculated already. Density I have read from the data handbook. U infinity is given. Okay. Substitute all the values. You get the value of a shear stress, local shear stress, which is 0.47 into 10 to the power minus 3 Newton per meter square. Okay. So all three values we have determined here. So that completes. Let's see, can we add to this? It is not given the problem. Let's see. Suppose if for the same problem, sometimes if you ask, find out the total drag force per meter, because to determine the drag force, shear stress, from knowing the shear stress, I can determine the drag force. So to determine the drag force, I need area. Length is given, but width is not given. I consider unit width, okay, per meter width of the plate. If I want to determine the force, shear force, how to determine that? For that, I need to find out the shear stress. Remember, for determining the drag force on the plate,
we don't need the tau wx. Tau wx is the local shear stress. What I need is I need to find out total shear stress. So that's average shear stress. So for determining average shear stress, so go back to data handbook once again. It is given here. So to determine same equation, in the same equation, you make use of, instead of a friction, local friction factor, make use of a CFL, average. So this is CF bar, no? The total friction factor over the entire length L. There's an equation. Again, this equation is 2 times this. If you multiply 0.664 by 2, you get 1.328. Okay, make use of this, find out the CFL, substitute it in the equation for a tau, find out the tau. From tau, multiply it with the area, you get the total friction force or the drag force that is acting on the plate. So this is very helpful in determining the. So yeah, here the calculations I have done. So please do these calculations yourself. I have not found the calculation. I have just given final value here. The average friction coefficient is equal to, you get a value of a 2.058. So this